Okay, in this lesson, I want to explain the concept of UVs and what is UV actually, and information about the transform of it in UV editor. In a previous lesson, we make a UV of to this part, going to the one to the UV editor. In a UV layout, if you want to, for example, execute the reverse of that command, for example, as you can see, if you go into the edit mode here in the 2, we have dropped two those part to the UV editor. If you go into the UV editor and want to bring them back to the edit and cut it again, you have to doing shift. Shift means vice versa of comments. Bringing your mouse over that object that you want to bring it back to the editor view and holding Shift D, it's undrop it to the edit menu. As you can see, it's here again and you can cut it again. I will explain them more because they are already cut. You have to W to weld. Hold your W and weld it. It's very simple. Just weld. Just weld them again and you can cut them again if you want. Going back to our UV, I want to explain what is the concept of UV. Okay, when we ready our UV, create our UV, we have to pack them in this window. Okay, we have to pack at this window. And after that, in this software or another software, the software will be put a UV on this part and that's UV into the model and everything is ready for animation, rendering and anything. So, when you hit T, for example, if you go into tree, when you hit T, it's bring you a default texture of the UV. If you want to bring your desired UV in a UV editor, the texture in a UV editor, go into the display menu. Going to the display menu is something called trace here. Click on a trace. A window will be open and you have to go into the dir directory and address your JPEG that's make it yourself in your PC. And here you can show it if you want to see what's that. This is our UV, the 2K resolution. And after that's selected, as you can see, this UV this window have to be a square. Okay. Okay, it has to be a square dimension. Okay. You can download these texture from internet. It's all about UV checker map. The name of this texture is UV checker map. Okay, I split my window to split pane, and this window I want to make my 3D window. If you click on T, T, what's happening here? Make sure your keyboard is only in English version. I don't know what's this bug, but hit T to bring a texture to another T to this texture. Okay. Okay. As you can see, this is our UV. The first thing that I want to tell you, these polygons are not really polygon of the old 3D model. I explain you how to change the position of the points. Our concept, our main purpose of UV creating and is solving the issues about the color of the UV that sometimes we have a bigger texture or a smaller texture outside. As you can see, the UV is exactly define a border of texture that show the texture below itself in your model. For example, if you move, you can move your texture with holding a space and middle mouse button. As you can see, if bring in here, it shows exactly texture below that. F2, for example. Focus that, F2. Okay, this is the UV. we open our 3D model, and these polygons are UV polygon. And in a trace, you can change the opacity of that to see the texture below that. Okay, for transforming UV, we need just hold a space, and we can work with all three keys in our mouse. If you hold your space, I want to say the direction of the UV is important, the size of the UV is important. As you can see, if this UV in this direction, everything is correct. But if you hold a space with a left click of mouse and drag it to the left or right, you can rotate your UV. Holding a space with the right mouse button. Release it. As you can see, the texture is rotated because the direction of UV is in direction. So you learn the second thing, the direction of the UV is very important. Or as you can see, they are actually the wrong direction if you rotate it wrong. Okay, we rotated in a correct direction. Another thing I want to explain you is the size of the UV is a very important part. Hold the space with the right mouse button. You can drag it left or right to minimize or maximize. We minimize it first. Okay, as you can see, it turned to the red. For example, bring it to this part. As you can see, what happened? Because this tile is not important. If you bring your UV off the outside of the main tile, it's bringing you, for example, this side, it's produce you for more tile. But we focus this part. Two things happen. As you can see, the color of the UV, as you can see, in our color, we are in error. I explain you what the brush for file or local. Okay, it shows the color error, the error of the UV, the red error. The red error means I'm hot. The room is very tight for me. You can remember with that. Okay, when you minimize the UV wants to show the texture in its border, because the texture of the UV is maintain its dimension and the size of our model does not change. So it, as you can see, make a texture bigger. So if your texture is in a lovely resolution, you have a bad resolution of your texture. It's vice versa of each other. But if in a vice versa, if you maximize or make it bigger your UV, hold your space and drag to the right. As you can see, we have a bigger UV and another color of the error will be happen here. The blue. The blue is mean I'm cold because we have a lot of room. Because the UV is bigger and the size of the texture and the size of the model is constant, we have more resolution of your texture. So because it shows a lot of the texture. Because of that, our texture become smaller. So we cannot increase our resolution of texture by make the UV bigger, because we have a lot of pieces of this, for example, Ford here. So we have to bring them together and pack them. And you know and you understand that resolution of the texture is important here. For more resolution, we have to produce or export our texture to the 4K, 8K. As you can see, the game engine, we change the texture is here, the concept of UV, because of that. Because we cannot, for example, one type for this UV. No, we have to pack all of the pieces in here, and we have to shift F again to bring it back to its original size. When you click shift F for flattening that UV, the size of this actual and size of the UV is this. And as you can see, because of the resolution of the texture, it's nice here. So this is UV. We packed our UVs here and bring into the Photoshop, bring into the Substance Painter, Substance Designer, or another UV or texturing software, for example, Cinema 4D, 3D Max Maya, and they're painting over the this UVs, and it's reflected on a texture of the 3D model, and you can render it or anything that you want. Okay, so you know about the color, error color, green. The green is everything is normal. Blue, it means we have a lot of room, and the texture is smaller than the real size in a 3D model. And the red error means the UV is tight and you have to make it. Our main purpose of the UV editing is that we have to make the all color near to green. That shows us everything is correct for now. Because, for example, I want to explain you how to change the point of the UVs. Another important lesson is here. For changing the point of the UV polygon, I said again, these are polygon UV, not the real polygon of the. As you can see, the polygon of the model are here. No, it's a UV. If you click in a T, as you can see, you can turn it off or on again. Holding, I will explain them more, don't worry. Hold Control and click middle mouse button to change the position of the UV polygon. As you can see, I make them bigger. The blue error will be happen. What happened here? The blue is here. As you can see, the texture become smaller. And this is error because here the texture is small, here the texture is normal, and this is the bug about of the UVs. You have to make sure that the UV is uniform and continuous version. Or, for example, bring them back to the close to each other, and the red error will be happen here. And the texture, as you can see, the texture is make bigger here. Okay, as you can see, the texture is distorting if you change the position of the point UVs. The texture is stretched. Look at here. So the position of the points are important. The main power of the UV is if you click Shift F, it's do everything for you correct. Shift F and hold a space to stop. Now it's everything done and everything is smooth and correct and green. It's the power of the UV. You don't need to worry to editing your UV in hours or. But if you have some error, you can correct it very easy. Okay, change again. Distort it. And as you can see, we have lots of. But if you click T, as you can see, our polygon does not change. You learn these are UV polygon to correcting the texture and the UV, and these are polygon of the real object. So don't worry about the changing the position of this point. You could be changing these points. You doesn't change the topology of your object. Okay, this software is just for UV. In another software, it's not different. So these are UV polygon. That's it. Shift F again. Shift F again. Sorry. Make sure you are. Because of that, I don't like really make my window to pane. Kill all panes to bring back to one window. Kill all panes. And Shift F again, or F. It's work for us. F. It's thinking suddenly and make your. But in a complex UVs, you have to hold Shift F to more accurate UVs. That's it. It's everything correct, and it's more of texture. Okay, that's it. Sorry, I forgot that tell you, if you want to turn your UV off because it's sometimes annoying, you can turn off the trace, and that's it. Hello my friends, to continue these tutorials on YouTube, subscribe us, like us, and hit the bell icon. And now you will be alerted about all of the amazing videos that we release.